All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Her Movement. Tonight, we're going to be talking about how to deal with stress and learn some coping skills about stress. But before we start, let's introduce ourselves just in case anyone joins that does not know who we are. I am Labrina Coleman, the founder of Her Movement. And along, we have three young ladies who are also a part of Her Movement and keep things running and organized. Anyone can go first.
I'm Kayla Dalfurley, and I'm an intern with Her Movement.
You're supposed to say, okay. You gotta reintroduce yourself. My name is Jakaya Lumpkin. I am a senior at Florida A&M University, and I am an intern for Her Movement. She goes to Florida A&M too. We both go to FAM together.
My name's Kendriana Miller, and I'm in Gainesville, Florida, and so I'm interning, or not interning, excuse me, I'm volunteering rather from a distance.
Yes, so we have volunteers, interns, and then myself. And today, what is stress? We all know what stress is. We all experience stress. But what some people do fail to realize is stress is something that comes from your body, directly from your brain, which affects your body overall. So it's more of a mental thing, and then your body just goes along with whatever is going on in your brain. It's more chemical, like a chemical balance. And sometimes our thoughts can be overwhelmed and rushed, and that leads to stress as well. And sometimes stress, you could have a headache, or you could feel a pain in your side, your back, or most likely your shoulder. And that comes from directly your brain. Remember, it goes down to your body. And also, stress isn't always bad. So there's also good stress. If you're ever nervous, you ever had to speak in front of a large group of people, or if you ever had to walk in front of a lot of people, and you may feel overwhelmed, nervous, slightly stressed. But that stress may motivate you to study extra hard for a test, or that stress may help you perform better in front of that large crowd, or that stress may for our females may help you walk across that stage a bit better, a little extra stretch in your stuff. So stress isn't always bad. It can be good as well. Does anyone have anything to add on so far?
I would say that I think that people are so always caught up in why I shouldn't be stressed. I shouldn't be stressed. Stress is like a natural reaction to a lot of things, and what I would say is like don't be scared of stress. Be open to stress. Just don't let it consume you. Know how to manage it. Know how to relax yourself and bring yourself back to that Zen moment. Because stress isn't something you should really be scared of. Is it something that you'd be like, oh my god, I'm about to be stressed. Oh my god, I'm about to be stressed. No, no, everybody's going to be stressed at one point in their time at their lives for anything. And don't let anybody be like, oh, well, you shouldn't be stressed about that. That's not their business about what you stress about. It's okay. Focus on yourself. Get back down to that level of calmness. And you know that at the end of the day, whatever it is, you're going to make it and it's going to be great.
Just a minor step in the road. Period.
I completely agree. Because the good stress can boost your energy. Like she said, it can boost your energy sometimes. However, too much stress becomes really, really bad when it becomes too much stress. It's okay to stress right before a test, or right before that performance, or stressed about a certain situation for a few hours. But if you're dwelling or thinking, focus on that stress for days, weeks, months, that's overdoing it. That's too much stress. That's bad. That's the bad stress. And bad stress can cause heart disease. Bad stress can cause anxiety, depression. It can cause aches in your body. It can cause a stroke, because it's triggering another nerve in your body. Remember when I first said it starts in your brain and it goes down throughout your body. So a lot of people do not realize how much stress can impact you as a person mentally and you as a person physically. And that's why it's so important for each person, young, old, a child, and from the age 5 to 99, it's important to regulate your stress. And when regulating your stress, that also comes with regulating your emotions. And if you've all tuned in last month, we talked about meditation. So meditation goes hand in hand with stress, because if you're meditating, you're regulating your emotions, you have a good balance of how you're overthinking things to lessen the overthinking, then you're balancing out your stress, which means you should have that good stress, not the bad. Have any of you had any experience with good stress versus bad stress?
I always had bad stress.
No good stress.
I may had good stress, but I never were like, I never knew if I did have it.
Mhm.
I always had bad stress.
I think we always associate stress as something bad. So, like, even now, some people, it will probably be something that is so simple that they're stressed about, something that they know they're going to achieve, and it's something that's caused, but they're just going to associate it with being bad because that's what we know. We're always going to associate stress with something negative. It's a negative connotation, you know. And I like that, changing that narrative. You know, it's okay to be stressed. There's good parts to stress. You know, that means you know what you're doing and you're worried about the outcome, that you're working hard to that eventual goal. Because I know I get stressed about something oh so simple. Like I recently just turned 21 and I had a party. I was so stressed that everyone's gonna like the party, and I'm just over here stressing myself. I almost didn't enjoy myself. You know, you gotta remember those little things that you're stressing about. You know, it's maybe something that's gonna have a good outcome, but for you to actually enjoy that outcome, you have to let that stress go. You have to minimize it, you know, to focus on that good, because stress could cloud everything. You're so focused on the next thing, you're so focused on tomorrow, you're so focused on the future that you're forgetting about the present. You're forgetting to enjoy the little things. You know, I always have to stop myself and sit down and relax and like, wow, you know what? I may be worried about tomorrow, but I made it. I at least made it to today. You know, I got through today. I did at least one homework assignment today. Take the time to acknowledge even the smallest achievements that you do. It may be small to somebody else. It may be minuscule to somebody else. It may not even matter to nobody else, but to you, take that time and be like, wow, I got up this morning. Because that's one of the greatest things you could do. At least get up in the morning.
I agree. I definitely agree. And that goes next to what I was going to say about stress. The good stress is used daily. Daily, as Kayla was saying earlier, you use good stress daily, just to defeat those small challenges. And like she said earlier, we always tend to notice the negative because that's the way we're trained as humans. We notice the negative in things way quicker than we notice the positive. And sometimes that small stress, you're like, whoo, okay, whatever, it's over. If a police officer turns their lights on right behind you and you're like, oh my God, you're freaking out, and they pass by you. They're not coming after you. They never thought of you, but you were stressing for a few seconds because you thought they were coming behind you to give you a ticket, although you knew you weren't doing anything wrong. Or if you are not driving at this moment, although you know no one else was doing anything wrong in the car and you're in the back seat or the passenger seat, you still feel that tense or that sensation of stress. And that's just for a few seconds. But when they pass by you, it's like, whoo, okay. And that good stress is like to remind you, hey, put the seatbelt on real quick. Or hey, let me do the speed limit. It's a tad bit of stress, but it promoted you and pushed you to do the right thing, although it had nothing to do with you in the beginning. That's just a small scenario that most people can relate to. And the key thing about stress is understanding why your body reacts the way it does, or especially to those false alarms when you're overstressing or overthinking something, because those false alarms are just pushing you towards something better. It's making you focus more. It's making you be more direct of what you're doing, and it also makes you present in that moment. So being present in that moment forces you to focus. It focuses you to be direct and pay more attention, be more alert. And when you're being more alert with your surroundings, most likely you're more alert with your body as well. You should be more in tune with yourself in that moment. That's what we call being present in that moment. So once you, and once again, relates back to meditation from last month when we talked about how to meditate and relax your body from your head to your toes. That's also helping you realize where in your body you are stressed. Because if you notice, hey, I'm tense in my shoulder, most of our stress is in our shoulder or our back. That's why most massages we do, what do we massage? Right? So that's just a little fun fact to take home with you all. And recognizing your signs of stress, recognizing what stresses you out. That way you know, hey, I'm doing too much of this. This stresses me out. Or hey, I need to avoid that because that's going to cause me to overthink and then I'm going to be stressed out. Or if you know you're becoming stressed out when the test is arriving and you did not study before the test weeks before so you're not stressed when the test is there the next day, or you're overwhelmed with work, documents, paperwork, schoolwork. Don't wait till the last minute if that's something that stresses you out. Try to do it in a timely manner. And that goes to our next topic next month, where we're going to talk about time management. And all of this, if you haven't noticed, it all correlates. It all comes together of how to better yourself as an individual. So stress, realize what stresses you out. Try to lower or increase that stress amount and pay more attention, be more aware to your body. Does anyone else have anything to add on?
I'll add on. And I liked what you said about pay attention to your body when you start getting stressed. Like for me, I know when I'm starting to get really anxious, really stressed out, I touch my face a lot and I move frantically. So I know when I'm doing that, I'm like, okay, well, I need to step back from something. I need to sit down. I need to relax. I need to cool down. I need to power down. Like some people think that, you're stressed, you just got to keep pushing, just get to your end goal. But if you're stressing yourself out about your end goal, about what you're doing, it might not be the greatest that you could do. It never hurts to take at least 5 minutes to step back and relax and calm yourself. You don't even have to meditate. Just close your eyes. Yeah. A little music. Just take a step back from that. And I know, especially as a college student, I don't know if you do this, but when I do my work, it's 45 minutes uninterrupted and then 10-minute break. 10-minute break. That's exactly how I do my work. It's gonna get done. It might take me a little minute, but I'm not gonna sit there and sit for a whole 3 hours uninterrupted doing work. No, I'm not gonna do my best.
That's bad for you, honestly, right? Because like if you just sit there for like long periods of time just typing on a laptop, it can make you insane. Like for me, I know I did like a paper that was 20 pages long, and I was up from 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning, and like back to back, like did not stop, did nothing. And from that point on, I was like really cranky the next day because I didn't take breaks like I needed to. Because I knew like even though it did take a while for me to do it, I knew like at the time I was doing breaks, but I said if I do a break, I'm gonna go to sleep. If I like lay down for a little minute, I'm gonna go to sleep and not do this paper. So that's why I did what I did. I drank, energy drinks and stuff like that. And it really made me cranky because like the next day I had an 8 a.m. So I was up at 4, had like 2 hours to sleep, then had to wake up again to go to my 8 a.m. and get ready for it. So breaks is like real, like take a break. Like for me, what I do is I put an alarm on for 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes the alarm goes off. So I do something like I go to the bathroom or I get to the drink or just get on my phone like Instagram for 10 minutes. And as soon as like 10 minutes up, I go back to work. I know it could be hard because it breaks and some people's minds can't go back to focus. But for me, I have to do it because if I don't do it, I'm gonna be stressed out.
Right, like to the T. And I have like this rule. I've had this rule since I was in like middle school. When I have a test and I'm studying like the day before to make sure I got information straight, I go to sleep. Everybody knows this about me. I go to sleep really early. 9 o'clock is the time I sleep, 9, 10 o'clock. If I don't know it by 8:45, almost 9 o'clock, it's done. I'm going to sleep. Because I believe that you're not going to know it that next morning. You're not going to retain that information. You need to sleep to retain that information. And I was constantly telling my mother, this when she was studying for her nursing degree, like sleep. And honestly, she's always said that's made her do better on tests on those days that she stayed up and crammed. You know, at the end of the day, nothing is worth more than your health. You know, stress can really activate a lot of things that's detrimental to your health. Stress is one of the biggest factors to heart attacks, to a lot of things. And that, especially in our community, in the Black community, we're so prone to telling our kids, well, you're fine, oh, that's okay, and pushing them towards the edge. We forget that at the end of the day, you know, kids have their own issues, adults even have their own issues, and it's okay to be relaxed. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to have something wrong with you, as long as you're opening up and talking about it and releasing that energy, because all you're doing is hurting yourself inside when you pent it up. And I'm at fault with this too, because I'd be the quickest one to be like, oh, I'm fine. I can do it. No, I'm fine. You know, there's nothing right. And there's nothing wrong with being stressed. There's nothing wrong with being tired. You know, I always hear this with my mom. What are you tired for? Well, I'm tired because I'm tired. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with being tired. You know, don't let nobody tell you there's something wrong with being tired. Take the break. At the end of the day, you deserve it, because you don't want to be hurting your health. Like my teacher says to me all the time, she starts class with what's wrong. If there's anything wrong with you, please let me know, because nothing is worth more than your health and your life.
And a lot of people don't know this, but stress like ends up with depression and anxiety.
Right.
And with like, I just learned this in one of my other classes, but with it's more like common in college students, because we have, like, for me, I take 5 classes, so that's 15 credits, and plus I work. So on top of that, like, imagine a college student having more than 15 credits, or having 15 credits, working a full-time job. That can lead to stress, and then plus with all that stress build up and they're not doing anything about it, it can lead into anxiety or depression or something even worse. So it's always best to, like, know your stress and how to deal and manage with it, because if you don't, it will lead into like something that, God forbid, could kill you. And many people don't know that, but like, one of the main symptoms of depression is stress. So it don't matter what it is. I get stressed out while driving, because here in Tallahassee people can't drive. So it leads into anxiety, because one, you're already stressed while driving, and then plus I have anxiety from driving. So it just like leads up to different things.
Okay, so if anyone wants to participate, you may, or anyone want to participate at home on their own, you may, but this is something that you could do on your own if you haven't realized what really stresses you out, or if you haven't paid attention, never thought about it a day in your life. You can make a list of 5 situations that you've been in that were pretty stressful for you. And with those 5 situations, think about what actually occurred, what triggered you. Notice the word trigger, your stress. Notice what triggers your stress, and how stressful was it on a scale 1 to 10. How stressful was it? So you're going to make a list of 5 situations, 5 events that occurred that were stressful to you. What happened? How did the stress come about? How are you feeling? What was going on in that moment? And how stressful were you on a scale 1 to 10? If it's a 1, that's okay. Not too bad. But if it's a 7 and up, you may want to work on that stress, identifying it when it comes about, because you kind of want to avoid that stress, or know and be aware that that's the bad stress upon your life, so you don't trigger anything else in your body. And especially if some of you out there know you have a history or a family line of being diagnosed with a mental illness, some things can trigger your mental illness if you haven't experienced that as of now. So you want to regulate your stress so that doesn't also trigger a different mental illness in your body as well. Stress is so important to regulate. I cannot express that anymore. Then we have All of us have expressed stress on different levels, small levels, large levels, huge levels. So it depends on the person and what works best for you. No one can tell you exactly how to deal with your stress, exactly what stresses you out. You know you. No one knows you better than you. Do you have anything to say?
I'm gonna say I definitely think with with stress and knowing what stress is comes a level of mindfulness. So when I was at UF, I took counseling psychology, and we pretty much did a whole session on mindfulness. What is mindfulness? And something like the activity you suggested, you write down 5.
Oh,
You may want to put your phones on silent. I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry. I went through my computer.
That's fine. So I was saying you pretty much like you would make a like list of scenarios, or even just like what do you do on a daily? So write down, I wake up, I go to the grocery store, I walk to class, but then our assignment in this particular class or for the lesson for mindfulness was to actually write down like how many colors did we see, how many cars did we see, how many people, so that we're to the minute, like you said, being present and aware. So literally it's not Jakaya, but I'm learning the new intern's name, but she pretty much was saying like she starts to rub her face, just being aware, knowing like, okay, I'm trying to even do this. You are mindful in that moment to know, okay, and this is starting to trigger me out. So it's really about being aware. And I think taking that consciousness with us all day, every day, which is pretty much being on alert. And you're right, we have the moments of restoration for ourselves, but that level of awareness and mindfulness in the moment, like where did I place my keys? And then all of a sudden you're looking for your keys, and now you're stressed because you're about to be late because you just didn't even hang it up on the rack because you weren't worried about that last night. It starts a whole thing. But if you're able to be like, okay, let me take a minute and let me just take the steps of the process that I go through every day, it'll help. So that was my little tidbit, but we're all sharing these experiences and they make sense because every day we're going to be facing things, and it's about knowing if it's good or bad and how we do it.
Yes, I definitely agree.
For college students, like I know that me and Kayla are college students and everything, and I even had stress in high school. But I know for FAMU we have counseling services here that's free. Well, it's not really free; it's in our tuition
Mhm.
that we pay for. But they always like basically send out emails and everything saying like if you feel some type of way or if you have stress or you have all these like anxiety or something, come to the counseling services because they just don't want to lose another, like they don't want to lose a student. So even though we pay for it, it's still free. So I would like I always tell people go to the counseling services. I go myself, but I don't go frequently. I go like every now and then around like midterms, final exams, stuff like that, because that's when more people start to get stressed. That's when I start to get stressed more because of final exams and everything. So I always tell people make sure you go to counseling services. Um, they have the best therapy, like therapists out there, hands down, best therapists.
I'm gonna be open because this is an open environment. Me, I suffer from anxiety and it affects me on like a very daily day-to-day basis. Like even the littlest things trip me up. And like Jay said, use your resources if they're available to you and it's in your budget, because I already know, because I know outside of school I can't afford therapy, even if it's just a friend or your aunt, your auntie, somebody speak about it. I definitely use the counseling service at FAM my entire semester, last semester, like my entire fall semester. I had weekly counseling services. And when I tell you, it's made it easier to handle stress. And that's how I know how to point out when I'm gonna get stressed out, how I know when I'm gonna get overwhelmed. It's never be too scared to talk to somebody, even if it's like somebody that you just met and that you feel like you're never going to see again. That's the time to get it out, because those people they might judge you at that minute, but you're never going to see their face again. Let it go. Never be scared to be open about it, because once you hold it in, it's what's going to make you suffer the most. Use your resources. Have that friend, have that one aunt and uncle that you know that's going to help you through it, because it's better to talk about it than to hold it in. And that's something my therapist, said. And something that Drea said, reminding me back to my sessions, is mindfulness. If you constantly focus on that one thing, that's only what you're going to see. My therapist said, if you're sitting on the street and you're watching the cars pass by and you see different cars, you see a red car, you see a yellow car, you see a blue car. Oh, you saw somebody with a blue shirt. You're seeing all these things. But when you're stressed, when you're overwhelmed, you're focused on that one red car. Oh, whoa, the red car got a dent on the side. Red car got 5, 6, 7, 8 on the license plates. You're focused so much on that red car that Justin Bieber could have walked past and you wouldn't even notice. You have to make sure you're focusing on your bigger picture, because once you get overwhelmed and you zone yourself too in on things, you're gonna miss your bigger picture. The world is bigger than that one portion of the puzzle. You got to see the whole picture.
And they always gave me like steps whenever I did go, because like they would be like, well, the therapist I had was saying like what kind of things trigger your anxiety. So since I was like in a really bad car accident, I told her driving is like a big thing for me, because one, I hate driving. Two, I have to do it because if I want to go somewhere, nobody's gonna take me. I have my own car. I can drive myself. But like at certain points of time, like the rain or it's dark at night, I that's when my anxiety starts to peak, because I just not like something inside of me is saying like something bad is going to happen. So she always told me to make sure you breathe, say affirmations to yourself before you start driving. Um, and she's like a very godly person, so she said always pray before you go on the road. And that's just something I do because I was raised in a household where we pray before we go on the road. And even if we're going down to the store, we still pray. So it's just something that I always do, because like you never know what's gonna happen. But when it comes to different things, she always say like just breathe, do like 10-second breathes, breathe in, breathe out, and then just do like a stretch, like any kind of stretching will help too. So like I personally haven't been stretching a lot, but I do breathe because I know I can feel myself when I'm getting stressed or starting to get anxiety, because my heart starts beating fast and then my chest gets tight. So I always know when I have anxiety, and I just breathe in, breathe out, stuff like that.
Okay. Thank y'all for sharing that. That was great. Just in case someone watches and they don't know, they never had anyone to talk to about this. So thank you too for opening up and sharing that with us. And also with stress, remember self-care is also helpful when it comes to stressing out, because self-care can mean taking a vacation. If you've been stressing about a test, about a big project, about work, your boss has been on your case about something for a while, take that vacation, relax, be rejuvenated, rejuvenate yourself. It's all about that personal fulfillment. So vacations or daily activities. If you enjoy going for walks, go for your walk, and that'll be your self care. For my females, women, you love getting your nails did. Get your nails did every 2 weeks. That's your self care. If you like to eat, go out and eat every Friday. That's your self care. Whatever your self care is, try to make time for that, because that helps regulate and bring down your stress level. It's called taking care of yourself. When you have self-care, you're taking care of yourself. Some people, when they're stressed, they don't eat at all. If you know that you're the type of person who do not eat when you're stressed, force yourself. Tell yourself you have to eat. You have to eat to survive, although your body is telling you no because you're stressed out. Or if you're that person who loves to eat everything in the refrigerator when you're stressed out, tell yourself, no ice cream. I'm not going to do it. No cookies at 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, because you know that's your stress controlling you. You want to control your stress, right?
Mm-hmm.
So make self-care a habit. You want to make it a habit, not something that you just do randomly, but make it a habit. Like we all said, be mindful of yourself and what helps you.
definitely make self-care a habit. It's like people get stressed to the point where they just stop caring about themselves. And it takes them a while to like get back in that routine. So self-care is big. Like get out. Just if it's just sitting on your porch, get out of the house. Get out the bed. Cause I do saying like when I'm stressed or something, I just be in bed all day and sleep. So get out the bed like ASAP.
I definitely agree. Sometimes, and remember earlier we said stress, along with stress comes depression. And a lot of times when we're depressed or sad for a long period of times, we tend to lay in bed, don't want to get up, don't want to brush our teeth, don't want to shower. We don't want to talk. We just want to lay in bed. You have to mentally tell yourself, I need to get up. It's that time. Even those moments where you're like, I'm just gonna lay here 1 more hour. 1 hour turns into three, three turns into nine. Next thing you know, you've been in bed all day. Tell yourself, talk to yourself and motivate yourself. Not talk to yourself in a weird way, but motivate yourself to get up out of bed. You're just trying to motivate yourself because that's something that you need to do. That's caring for yourself and taking that shower. Take the shower because that's a part of hygiene, which is self-care. Do not let the stress or the depression overwhelm you and control you. You want to be in control, especially of your body and your well-being. And remember, unhealthy activities do not count as self-care. Once again, unhealthy activities do not count as self-care. Going out, getting drunk every day, all day is not self-care. You had a long day at work. Oh, I'm gonna take a shot or two. That's not self-care. Smoking or doing any kind of drugs, narcotics, that's not self-care. I just wanted to point that out. What's the difference between self-care and what's the difference between you wanting to do what you want to do? That's not self-care. Self-care is something that helps relax you. Although you may feel good when you're doing drugs or drinking and going out all night, every night, you feel good, but that's not self-care because it's not healthy. Self-care is doing something that's healthy for you mentally and physically.
Mm, I believe that.
Yes, so that's all I have to cover tonight for stress. Although we went all over where everywhere, touched a little bit of everything, but that comes along with stress. That's just how important regulating your stress is because it taps into different things, different realms, especially if you're that type of person who's busy and love to intervene and get into a lot of things, involved in a lot of things. So stress can damage you and it can help you. You just have to find your balance.
Most definitely, because I could say for myself, I'm in a lot of organizations. I don't know about Kayla, but
No.
me and Kayla is in an organization together, and it's like an event every other day for us. So with that, plus school, plus work, and then like with me, I'm in three e-boards and like five different organizations on campus. So you can imagine how that is. Like everybody wants something at a certain time, a day, everything. So
For me, I learned the hard way in high school. Doing too much at once will literally kill you. So take your time, pace yourself. I really, as much as being in e-boards and being in a bunch of organizations is great, I know my limits. That's the most important thing. Know your limits, know what you can and can't. One is enough for me this semester.
I wish I would have
I
said
agree. I
that.
definitely agree. But we're going to talk more about that next month with time management. So, anyone watching this video, make sure you tune in next month, same time, different date. Um, and we're going to talk about time management. All right. So, nice seeing you, ladies. Thanks for coming.
Don't we have to stay after? Don't we have to stay after?